and even the muscles in my face. I become aware of every part of my physical body, and very consciously I let every part become calm and relaxed. As I do this, I sense my own separate identity. I begin to be aware of the power, the mastery that I possess. I can feel the source of energy in the center of my forehead. I focus on this. I am a spiritual being. I am a being of light. I am a soul. I am quite distinct and separate from my physical body. In fact, I now understand that I existed before this body was born. This body, this vehicle, has a moment, a date of creation, and at some time this body will come to its end of its lifespan. But I, the being of light, transcend time. I existed before this body. I will continue to exist after this body perishes. Aware of my own eternity, my own immortality, my perception of myself changes.
Om Shanti. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to day 2 of the Raj Yoga meditation course. So quickly, were you able to practice soul consciousness today? Show me a thumbs up. Please turn on your video so I can see you, just as you can see me. Okay, great. How was it? Was it different? What did it emerge in you? Yes.
It helped make my day more peaceful.
Okay, good. So going back to my original nature, going back to who I am, definitely the day becomes peaceful because I am peace. Great. Any other thoughts? Anyone else?
It reminded me that I can respond in a different manner. I can pause and think for a second and respond in a different manner, instead of judging and then coming to conclusions and creating a lot of thoughts.
Yes. Great.
Yeah, but still it was like, here and there, and then again go back.
That's okay. That'll happen. It'll take some time, but great. Yes, brother, it was interesting, unusual, fleeting. Fleeting meaning it came and went away. Yeah. But even for a few seconds, if you were able to hold on, and then when you keep doing it during the day, it helps. Great. All right. So should we continue then? Any questions? Yes,
Yes, I have a question.
yes.
So I was wondering today, I'm sorry, I did not, I kind of remembered to do it one time and I was in my car, and then when I got out of my car, I just didn't remember. But it did get me thinking, are those the thoughts that we are the kind of thoughts that we're trying to have more of, rather than the waste and the negative thoughts and okay.
So what you will learn during these meditation sessions, couple of things. One, what kind of thoughts should I create? Um, and when we talk about mind, we'll talk about how the mind really needs like freshness, needs new thoughts. I cannot just create one thought, I'm a soul, I'm peaceful every day. The mind will get bored. Okay. So throughout the course, you will be, given different homeworks and different practical ways that you can apply this knowledge. Okay. Second, understand that this knowledge is, when we hear the word spirituality, what is spirituality? Spirituality is study of the spirit or the soul. That's what spirituality is. Spirituality is not religion. Okay. So even though, some concepts you might feel, oh, is this from this religion? Is it from that religion? Spirituality is study of the soul. So everything that you will uh, understand and study in these sessions, it's all related to you, the soul's journey, the soul's nature, the soul's habits, right? The mind that is creating the thoughts, part of the soul, right? The soul's karma. So everything related to the soul. Okay. So this is very important to understand that spirituality is different from religion. Okay? It's the study of the self, the soul, right? So very quickly, I wanted to just go through this and just recap what we learned yesterday. Right? We learned who am I? We saw I'm a tiny point of shining light, subtle, invisible. I, the soul, am eternal, imperishable, indestructible, living energy. I, the soul, am located in the center of the forehead. The soul is living, it is sentient, conscious. That is, the soul has the awareness, and the soul can experience. So remember, while the soul is in the body, the soul expresses and experiences. And then we saw the anatomy of the soul, the faculties of the soul, the mind, source of all thoughts, the intellect, which is the power to discern, and the sanskars, which is our impressions, imprints, habits. Okay, so this is what happens. And we'll go through this today. And then we saw the difference between the soul and the body. The soul is non-physical, body is physical. Soul is immortal, does not die, body is mortal. The soul is eternal, body is temporary. Soul is conscious, body has no consciousness. The soul is constant self-image, point of light. Same. The body changes, fat, thin, right? Different. The body goes through transformations. The soul's natural state is of peace, and the body is constantly in motion. So the soul is energy, and the body is matter. Okay. And then we saw the qualities of the soul. The original qualities: peace, love, power, knowledge, wisdom, happiness, purity, bliss. And then the acquired qualities, that is the algae. This is not our original quality. These are acquired. This is what we learned from our parents, from our environment, past births, things like that. Okay, so that was a quick recap. So let's understand how the soul functions. You know, this is one of my favorite parts to understand what the soul is actually doing sitting in the body. What does the soul do? Did we ever think about it? What does the soul do? So we saw that the soul uses the mind, intellect, and then the impressions, or we call them as sanskars. Okay. So the mind thinks, mind creates thoughts, and we saw the different kinds of thoughts: positive, negative, necessary, and waste. The intellect discerns right, wrong, should I do it, not do it, right? And when the action is performed, it leaves an impression which is called the sanskar. All right. So let's look at an example. So what happens is the mind, intellect, and the sanskar, they work in a cycle. All right. And how we look into that. So say, for example, a young boy meets his friends and they are smoking. Now they offer him a cigarette. Okay. So what happens? The boy looks at the cigarette. The soul is seeing through these eyes. The mind is creating many, many thoughts. And the intellect is also discerning at the same time. Should I take it, not take it? Based on previous information, cigarette smoking is not good. My parents said I shouldn't smoke. All these thoughts will keep coming. And at the same time, the intellect is discerning. Should I do it? No, yes, no, yes, no. If the intellect is weak and the intellect says, it's okay, nobody will come to know, let's do it once. So the boy takes the cigarette and takes the first whiff. An impression is created, right? And that's the sanskar. An impression is created of that action being performed. Now, the next time the boy meets his friends again, they are smoking. Now, what thoughts will emerge? Thoughts based on the impression. How was it like yesterday? And then they offer him the cigarette again. The intellect is again discerning. Should I do it, not do it? There'll be reasoning, all of that. The intellect decides, it's okay, nobody came to know. It felt good. Let's do it. Performs the action again. The impression becomes deep. Right? Second layer. Every time now the boy sees the cigarette, do you think the intellect is even discerning? Sanskar is formed, sanskar is formed. As many times the action is performed, this becomes deeper and deep. Okay, this is what is a habit. When a same action is performed over and over again, it becomes a habit. Do you think in case of habit, do you think the intellect is even discerning? Yes or no? Should I do it, not do it? The intellect is not discerning at all. Okay. So the intellect is actually sleeping. So it's only between the mind, the habit. Mind, thought comes, I'll take the cigarette. Thought comes, I'll take the cigarette. Any habit for that matter, whether it is snoozing an alarm to getting angry, seeing this particular person creating the same kind of thoughts, every single habit goes through this cycle. Isn't it interesting? In just this one few seconds, this is what is going on inside. Amazing, right? Did we think about it? Did we know that this is what is going inside? No, right? It's so beautiful. I really, really like. So now what we do is, what do I need to do to change a habit before that? Can I change a habit? Yes, no. Yes. Thumbs up. Yes. Are you guys answering? Okay, okay. Yes. Yes. Yes, we can change our habits. What do I need to do to change my habit? Willpower, constant reverse action. Now, where is willpower in the soul? It's in the intellect. Okay. So what I need to do is awaken the intellect. Because now when the intellect is awake, the intellect will discern and decide accurately. That's how I can change my habit. Okay. When you're listening to this knowledge, now as you're sitting here and listening to this knowledge, where do you think this knowledge is going in your mind, intellect, and sanskar? Where is this knowledge going?
Intellect.
It's going in the intellect. Yes. Good. So it's going in the intellect. Okay. So the intellect is getting empowered. Now I have to keep the intellect empowered at all times. The intellect is a very, very important faculty of the soul. Right? Because think of it, the mind is like a horse and the horse just keeps running. To control the horse, what we need is the reins. And the intellect is the reins that will control this horse. Okay? The soul is the rider. Okay? The soul is the rider. If the intellect, if the reins are great, the horse can be controlled well. But if the reins are not good, the rider will fall from the horse. That's when the soul falls, upset, disappointment, right? Sadness, sorrow, angry. It's like falling from my original stage. Okay. So in meditation, I cannot have zero thoughts. The mind cannot just stop thinking. Zero thoughts. That will not happen. What we do with meditation is we reduce the number of thoughts. So say in throughout the day, if I was creating 40 to 60,000 thoughts, with these meditation practices, I will create lesser number of thoughts. For example, what happens is just a second. So for example, if in 1 minute, if in a minute we have like this many thoughts, can you see the whiteboard? So if in a minute we have this many thoughts, with meditation, we'll just space them out a little bit. Okay. Now remember, thoughts are also energy. The more I think, the more energy I'm spending. The less I think, the more energy I'm conserving. Every thought has a feeling. Let's do an activity. Okay. So you can close your eyes or leave them open. And I want you to see yourself in your home. You walk towards the kitchen. You open the fridge, the refrigerator. You take a piece of lemon. You cut it in half and squeeze the half in your mouth. What happened?
Feeling the soft taste. You can feel the taste of it.
So there's no lemon. You're not in the kitchen. You're sitting in front of me. This was a meditation. This was a meditation on lemon, experiencing the quality of lemon. This was the meditation. Easy, right? What did we do? I gave you thoughts. Did you repeat these thoughts? You didn't, right? What did you do? You were visualizing, right? So when I said see yourself in your home, you saw the home, you saw the refrigerator, right? You cut the lemon and you squeezed it, and there was this experience. So the mind thinks every thought has a feeling. When we watch all these news and we watch all this war and things like that, as I'm watching, I'm creating these thoughts. Where do you think these feelings are going? When I create these thoughts, the feeling, the vibration, the energy of this thought is first experienced by me. You know, that's why nowadays when you go to the doctors and they say most of our illnesses are psychosomatic, because they're starting at the thought level. It's overthinking, stress, shame, guilt, resentment, all at the thought level. And all these feelings are giving aches and pains. The energy is trapped in the body. The energy first gets trapped in the soul, gets trapped in the body, and we feel the pains and everything. So every thought has a feeling. My quality of thoughts will determine my feeling throughout the day. Like someone said, right? I experienced peace during the day. Why? You just had like couple of thoughts, but just that created a feeling. No? So another thing that the intellect does, the intellect discerns, but the intellect also visualizes. The intellect also visualizes. So when you saw now, right, the home, the lemon, the refrigerator, everything, the intellect was visualizing. The intellect was awake. When the intellect is not awake, that means the intellect is not visualizing, then it's just the mind creating thoughts with the feeling getting registered. Thoughts, feelings registered, thought, feelings. It's just this pattern that happens. So with this knowledge, with constant awakening of the intellect, I'm able to change my experiences. And I'm able to create the experiences that I want to create. Okay, that is meditation. So in meditation, the mind is creating the thought, the intellect is supporting that thought. And the experience is being created in the form of the sanskar. Okay, it's a conscious, so the mind is consciously creating the thought. There are two types of mind, right? Conscious mind and subconscious mind. We've heard the conscious mind is this active mind. When I'm awake, this mind creates a lot of these thoughts. What is the subconscious mind? The subconscious mind is our sanskars. Because remember, when the boy saw the cigarette the next day, from the sanskars, the thoughts were like, oh, this is what I felt yesterday. Right? So my sanskar created those thoughts. right? So based on the feeling, I do it. Okay, so that's the subconscious mind. A very important time for your meditation is in the morning, as soon as we wake up and before going to bed. Why? Because at that time, a conscious mind, so when I'm getting ready for bed, my conscious mind is going to sleep, my subconscious is getting awake. It's a time of transition. So whatever thoughts I create, that's why, you would have heard so many people say, don't watch TV before going to bed, right? Don't have your cell phones. It affects your of course, the blue light affects the sense organ, the eyes, and then the neurons. But also what I'm watching, it's going to go into my subconscious. So during that time, it registers in the subconscious. Have you ever experienced that sometimes you wake up in the morning with the same thought and feeling that you went to bed with? Why? Because it had registered in the subconscious. So when you woke up, the subconscious is active at that time. And then slowly it takes about 15 to 20 minutes for the conscious mind to regain its 100% activity and the subconscious to become subconscious. Now, again, that transition is again important because now the subconscious is awake, active. So whatever thoughts I create first thing in the morning, they are like the foundation for my day. So as soon as you wake up, as soon as you open your eyes, many times we have the habit of looking at the phone, checking our messages instantly, starting our day with this frustration or things like that. So now if I'm starting my day with those feelings, that's my foundation for the day. So how my day is going to be. And then what is it doing? It's creating a subconscious pattern. Usually people say it takes 21 days to create a new habit. You keep on reinforcing the newer one, and your old habit changes, and the new habit is formed. Go back, think, go back and visualize how you were as a newborn baby. See yourself as this newborn baby. The newborn baby, free, smiling. No vices are seen. Why we are born, because they carry essence. And now slowly this baby grows to 2 months, 3 months, 1 year. What happened to my innocence? 3 years, 5 years. I got exposed to a lot of things from outside. So the soul started absorbing, looking at things, everything around me. Right? So my sanskars started to change. And I started losing my innocence. How many of us would look at a newborn or 1 2 month old baby and they're like, oh, so cute, come, come, come. And do we do the same thing with like a 5-year-old, 10-year-old? No, because now the child is showing their sanskars. And we look at this and like, oh, this is a stubborn child. This is an angry child. This one is like this, as we start labeling. Have you ever noticed that the more we label, the more those sanskars will grow? Like if you have a child and you keep saying, my child is very stubborn, my child is very stubborn. What happens? The sanskars of stubbornness keep growing. The same thing when I keep telling myself that I'm good for nothing, I'm a failure, I never get this right, I always make this mistake. All these words we use, always, I'm not good enough. We start comparing why I try to do good, but something wrong happens. Whatever I keep telling myself, that is growing in me. That's again, pattern. Right? Habit is formed, a pattern is created. So now if I want to change this, if I want to change my feelings, if I want to change my habits, if I want to change my experiences, what I need to change is my thoughts, but also I need to awaken the intellect. So as I'm listening to this knowledge, there are two ways to awaken the intellect. One is through knowledge, and the second is through visualization. You keep the intellect active. If I'm not visualizing, if only the mind is creating thoughts and the experience, thought, the intellect is like, oh, nobody's listening to me. What is willpower? Willpower is in the intellect. You know, we all have this gut feeling, our consciousness telling us this is not right. Even when we are arguing and fighting or yelling, and this little voice says, it's okay, let it go, it's not worth it. But we shut that voice. No, because I want to prove my point. I want to prove that I am right. No? So that inner voice, that's the intellect. Because we have this knowledge, the intellect has this knowledge, but the intellect slowly comes and says, it's okay, let it go. But then the mind and the sanskars are sit there. So what happens? The intellect is, anyways, nobody's listening to me. I'm not going to say anything. So the intellect just shuts off. So it's mind and sanskars doing their play. So awakening the intellect, keeping the intellect awakened. There are two things, right? One is, yes, I understand. Wow, yes, I understand. But now how do I keep that understanding? How do I change knowledge into wisdom? By applying it. Knowledge by itself is great, right? But then it remains as theoretical knowledge, until I apply it. Once I apply it, I create the experience. And when I create the experience, it stays with me. It is now converted into wisdom because now I'm sharing from my experience. It's not just words. You understand? Yeah. So this is how the mind, intellect, and sanskar, this is how the soul, this is what the soul does. We are most of the time, sanskars are like these icebergs. 95% is hidden. We only see 5% in terms of our reactions and behaviors. But 95% is in the subconscious, hidden. We can't see it. That's how deep-rooted sanskars are. So if I want to bring about transformation at the sanskar level, I have to pay attention to my start of the day and end of the day. Okay? Any questions? With practice of meditation, what we are looking at is transformation. In the Brahma Kumaris, we have this slogan, self-transformation leads to world transformation. When I change, the world changes. So my little practices, what's the purpose of this course? What's the purpose of learning meditation? It's to have a better life, right? Change my habits, change my patterns, change the way I look at situations or feel about people, feel about situations. Right? So whatever I listen to, we need to apply. So now here's your second homework. Ready? Yes? So today before going to bed, you're going to write a letter to yourself. And in this letter to yourself, you're going to talk about all the good things that happened today. No bad thing, okay? This one did this one did this, I felt this way. No, no, no. The good things that happened. Okay? And you will also write 10 points of self-respect. What is self-respect? Self-respect is who I am. So write down 10 points of self-respect. I am this. Not that I will be, but I am. Okay. So I, the soul, am peaceful. I am immortal. I am happy. I am living a good life. I am blessed with these relationships, whoever around me. I'm fortunate to be living. So I am. So write down these 10 points for yourself. And what you'll do is tomorrow morning, as soon, and keep it next to you near your bed. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, you're going to start by reading this. And not just reading, oh, because I have to read it. No, but you're going to experience it. So 5 minutes. Can you wake up like 5 minutes earlier tomorrow? And just 5 minutes, sit with the experience of these thoughts. Start your day with this. Okay? And then, of course, you'll continue with your first homework, which is during the day, keep checking. What am I thinking? Like if I ask you right now, hey, what are you thinking? When go, what are you thinking? You'll be like, I'm not thinking, I'm listening to you. I don't know, what am I thinking? So what happens is when you ask the mind suddenly, the mind gets off guard. Am I thinking? What am I thinking? So if the mind is confused now, oh, I don't know what I'm thinking. So let the intellect give a thought to the mind. Okay, you don't know what you're thinking. Let me give you a thought. Think about this. Right? So now the intellect is presenting a thought to the mind. Now the mind takes that thought. The intellect feels empowered. So let the mind build on that thought then. Couple of more thoughts. So if I'm a peaceful soul, okay, how does a peaceful soul behave? What does a peaceful soul do? What does a peaceful soul, how does a peaceful soul look at others? How does a peaceful soul interact? No, so just build on those thoughts and then get back to your thing. So these are called traffic controls. Okay, so you're just asking the mind, what are you thinking? Pause, create elevated thought. Okay, and then continue with your thinking. Yeah, can you do this homework? Yes? All right, any questions? You can unmute yourself and ask me the question. No questions? Yes.
Actually, I've been listening to Shivani from long time, and I make it a point to listen to her every day to remind myself,
Yeah.
where I should, how the way I should think. And then I do the traffic control every 1 hour by myself by having a set of affirmations. But now, as you said, now it's what I'm understanding. It is just like the thoughts and then the final state. The visualization part is missing. Though the visualization is done in the morning, I try to visualize everything, but it is like, a job done. The mind keeps saying, I'm pure, powerful, calm, and then you visualize something and then it goes away. Then after some point, as you say, the mind becomes tired of, this is not happening.
Same.
Yeah. And
Right.
then throughout the day, you create, I don't think 60,000 will create more than that thoughts. And then I suddenly, as the intellect comes in between, so I realize that, no, pause, change the thought. Why you need to change it. Then again, when I listen to Shivani, Didi, then it's again, okay, it's remember that you are a soul and everybody's a soul. And then when you think at that point, then it's easy to forgive. So that happens. So it's a confusion. So when you said, pause for a minute and say, what are you thinking? Okay. When you say peace, how do you, as a peaceful soul, how do you think? And then again, it goes back, wrapping here and there. And then
So then can you use your intellect more? Okay, let's do one more meditation then. All
Okay.
right, let's do another meditation. Want to experience peace or love? Peace? Should we
Yes.
experience peace? All right. I'll give you some thoughts. Just use your intellect to visualize. All right.
Okay.
See yourself. See yourself on a beach. You're walking on the sand and you can hear the waves. There's no one on this beach, just you. You pay close attention to the sound of the waves. You see these waves emerging from the ocean, coming towards the land. And the water goes back. As you're standing in this stillness, you go deeper into the ocean. The ocean is still. At this moment, I don't hear the waves. I am in this stillness. It's just me, surrounded by the ocean. No sound. I am peace. Om Shanti. Were you able to visualize? Were you able to experience the stillness? Like in the beginning, we hear the waves and then stops. Did it stop? So this is like stillness, right? And I create the thought of peace. It was less than a minute, right? So create this thought. The other practices, the other way that you can do is visualize yourself as this point of light in the center of the forehead and see that point of light and remind yourself, I am this peaceful being and I'm radiating rays of peace. This entire room is filled with peace. I share peace through my eyes. Rays of peace are radiating into this body. It's reaching the people in this home. And reaching the world. Again, 20 seconds. You got it? So creating these different thoughts, not the same set of thoughts. So you can see yourself at the near the water, stillness, peace. See yourself in this space of peace, and maybe tomorrow we'll talk more about how I go beyond into the space of stillness. But visualize that I am a soul or a peaceful being radiating peace. I am a loveful being radiating love through my eyes. You know, our eyes the eyes are called window to the soul. Whatever the soul is experiencing, we can see through the eyes. Right? So I'm radiating love through my eyes. Whoever I see, I'm seeing them as a soul. I am loving and I see them as loveful souls. So I share love with them. No? So even if they are not loving souls, but I'm sharing love with them. Let me share love with them. 30 seconds. So during traffic controls, you just pause. So engage your intellect. It's really important to engage the intellect. That's what happens many a times when people talk about affirmations and they're just repeating the affirmations. And the other thing that happens is then I'm stuck to these affirmations. Maybe the soul wants to think more and beyond these affirmations, but then I'm only thinking this much. Because I'm still in the limited. Let me go into the unlimited. Okay, so engage your intellect. It's really important. Okay, try it tomorrow and then we'll discuss. Tell me how it was. Okay, yes, brother.
Thank you, sister. I really appreciate the point about visualization to awaken the intellect. I've also listened to Sister Shivani for, like I said, many years, and lately, last few months, every day for many hours. But this was new information for me, very useful. I apologize, my attention kind of wandered when you were explaining the homework. I got the PM part, write a letter, and the 10 points of self-respect. AM, read it, contemplate it. There was something more I think you gave. Would you be so kind just to briefly repeat what else homework was?
In the morning, as soon as you wake up, you read these thoughts again. So you start laying the foundation of the day with these thoughts. What you're grateful for, or the thoughts, those 10 thoughts that you're writing for yourself. I am this, I'm this. So you're sitting with those, you're sitting with the experience of those thoughts for 5 minutes.
Okay.
So that's what it is. And then the traffic control. So again, during the day, you keep pausing. You're going to ask, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? And you keep pausing and give a thought. Not just what am I thinking and then nothing. Okay, let me go back to doing my thing. But then you create an elevated thought at that time.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. It usually takes like 15 to 20 seconds. It's as easy as that. Okay. Yes, Andrea? Yeah.
I'm sorry, could you repeat a little bit what you said about how to go beyond affirmations? Because I'm in that place where I'm kind of stuck with saying the same affirmations over and over. So could you repeat that, please?
So remember we said that every thought has a feeling. Okay, so affirmations are these elevated thoughts or positive thoughts that I'm creating. First, I have to attach a feeling to these thoughts. Otherwise, they just remain like mantras. I'm just chanting, repeating them. I am not feeling them. So there has to be a feeling. Like the lemon, there was a feeling. Okay. So every thought has a feeling. So your affirmations, there has to be feelings with it. Second, as I'm creating the affirmation, so say your affirmation is, I see myself driving a BMW 5 years from now, right? BMW is still common now, but maybe like which one? Bentley. Like see myself driving a Bentley. Now, another thing that people, affirmations, we usually use affirmations for physical attainments. Like, I need this car, or I'm living in this house. I see myself living. Great. I mean, it's okay. You can use your thoughts for this. But again, I'm still limiting my thoughts and energy to physical attainments. What is the soul attaining by driving a Bentley? What is the soul attaining by living in this 7-bedroom huge house?
Yeah, yeah, no, I use my affirmations for things more around like have a particular thing, health,
Yeah.
relationships,
Right.
appreciation, gratitude,
Okay.
but then I'm using the same ones.
Okay. So now what you do is with your affirmations, create visualizations.
Okay.
Affirmation for a relationship is, my relationship with this person is great, it's healthy. Now visualize, what does a healthy relationship look like? So now you visualize that you're seeing this person, you both are sitting and chatting and smiling. So you're adding the feeling and you're adding the intellect is creating the visual. Okay, so and it could be a different visualization each time, right? Not just sitting and smiling, you could be walking, you could be shopping together, you could be eating together, right? So now you're creating different visualization for the same affirmations. Got it? So now the mind is getting some newness. So the mind is happy about creating these affirmations as well. Okay. So create the feeling and create the visual. Any other questions? All right. Great. So you're clear on the homework? Yes? Good. So I'll see you tomorrow, but let's end with meditation. This practice of Raja Yoga meditation is an open-eyed meditation. So we practice with our eyes open. Why? Because this practice of meditation, I use it even while walking and moving around, while I am cooking and driving and all of that. So if I'm used to sitting in meditation with my eyes closed, now if there's a meeting and I want to be in a meditative state, I'll have to close my eyes and I can't do it at work, right? Or while cooking. So slowly, so maybe initially you can try with your eyes closed, but slowly get into the practice of opening your eyes, because remember, most of the day our eyes are open. We are doing things. No? So now I want to create these thoughts consciously with my eyes open, so then it becomes a practice. All right. For that, what you can do is you can focus at some point. So like usually I just focus on the camera there, or you can focus at, that's why, you can lower your eyelids and just look down and just focus at one point there. When you lower your eyelids a little bit, what happens is you're aware of your surroundings, but you're not getting pulled, towards the surroundings. Or the other thing is, if you're looking at the camera and you're looking at me, just focus here, center of the forehead. All right. So see if you can try with this. Okay.
I begin to appreciate who I am. I am infinitesimal and yet infinite. I'm able to be quite detached from this body of mine. I see my body separate from me. Now that I can experience this detachment, I begin to access the peace that is within I, the eternal soul. Peace is my natural state. Peace belongs to me. In this awareness of peace, peace reaches every part of my physical instrument. Peace reaches out, touching other people. peace spreads out into the universe. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. We will share the recording with you. We'll email it to you. Okay? It's going to be on YouTube. The channel is Gateway to Divinity. I just need to post it, but we'll share the link with you, maybe tomorrow morning. Right? So, you know what you're doing before going to bed tonight? Yes, and as soon as you wake up. Okay? All right. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Om Shanti. Good night.
Om Shanti.